It's a beautiful spring day. Grab your gear and let's go camping. This looks like a pretty good spot. I think I'll set up here. What do you think? And there we go. Hammock and tarp all up. It's starting to feel like home already. There's camp from the backside. And the terrain slopes off and drops down this way. And the same thing happens the opposite direction. This way, it drops off. Well, this is really a beautiful spot. And one of the first things to do after you set up your hammock and your tarp is to get firewood and get ready for everything else. And so firewood shouldn't be too hard. It never is in the forest. Look for dead standing. Don't have to go too far to find some. It's all around. Well, I'm sitting in the hammock and I'm looking through those two trees, and it looks like there's almost a natural sawhorse set up over there. So I'll probably take my wood and process it right over there. That's really convenient. Okay, I have the firewood processed and I've stacked up a couple of rocks just for a little bit of a windbreak. And my emberlit stove is here, of course, and I've got it all charged and ready for that first light of the evening. Well, here's something that's really been a great addition to my camp set, and that's my license plate table or tray. It's just so convenient and easy. Use an old license plate. An older one is better. The newer ones are thinner and lighter. These older ones are much more durable and much thicker and very strong. And this one works great. Very simple. And that's it. One of the benefits of putting the tray on a tripod is all of the adjustments, which makes it easy to level the tray. You use a water bottle to see what level is, and then just adjust it as needed, the legs or whatever is necessary, and it's just right. Very simple, and I like simple. Thought I'd show you a couple of items from my first aid kit. The first is this burn gel that's really wonderful. If you have a minor burn, it helps with the pain. It has a 2% lidocaine solution. It also helps prevent the spread of infection, and I've used it, and it really is nice to have along. There's always a chance of a minor burn when you're out camping. And the other is Court Aid, and of course it's for anything that might cause itching, 12-hour relief. And there's nothing worse than having a terrible rash or something break out while you're camping, and it's nice to have something that you can apply to help prevent that discomfort. So I recommend both of these, as well as, you know, assorted Band-Aids and those sorts of things that you normally carry. All right. Well, tonight for supper, I'm going to make an enchilada casserole. Cheese enchiladas. I love cheese. And so the ingredients are sliced cheese, 2 kinds of sliced cheese, corn tortillas, French fried onions, enchilada sauce, and some grated cheese. And we're hoping to have a wonderful Tex-Mex meal at the campsite tonight. And for dessert, we want to have, or try to make anyway, some lemon poppy seed muffins and about a tablespoon of powdered sugar and a single serving of lemon juice. And the way this is going to have to work tonight, I need to make the muffins first before the enchilada casserole. So we'll get the fire going and see if we can't bake up some lemon poppy seed muffins. But instead of starting the fire first, I really need to put the muffin mix in these muffin tins. So I'm going to do that first and get this batter done first. And I mix the muffins in the aluminum muffin tins. I think they work the best. The muffins come out the easiest. Fill them up about halfway. Nothing to it. Even a caveman can do it, as they say. Don't be afraid to try these things out camping. I realize that I enjoy cooking while camping just about as much as anything else I do out here. And I guess that's because I enjoy eating so much. Huh, oh well. Another one of life's great pleasures. So, there we go, that's about right. We'll add some water and get those all mixed together. Alright, I've got these mixed together. You notice how thick the batter is. You don't want to get it too runny, but it's nice and moist. I also need to remind you that this is a very inexpensive muffin mix that you can get at the grocery store. I think it was like 98 cents at Walmart. And it said that all you need to do is add milk. Well, of course, I've just added water, so what I did was add about a teaspoon of powdered milk into the dry mix at the house, and then just come in and add water. So it should be just fine. Now, they're not going to be the big, tall muffins like you can make in your oven, but they'll be all right. Not bad for camping. And so the next thing we want to do, I've got those all mixed up, and I use this little bamboo skewer as a stir stick. I'm just going to cover these up so nothing gets in them, and we'll get the fire started. I use cotton balls with a little petroleum jelly to get the fire started. There's no need to make it hard on yourself. A couple of strikes is usually all it takes, and the fire is going. Well, the temperature is starting to drop a little bit, and that fire feels really good. There's something about a fire. It's just not camping if you can't have a little fire. That's one of the things I like about the Emberlit stove. You don't need a massive fire at all. You don't need a lot of wood. Just enough to cook with, and still you get all the pleasure and enjoyment of having a natural fire. Letting it burn down just enough so I can set the cook set on top. Now, while that's cooking, you get that baggie of powdered sugar, and what really makes this dessert pop is you take that packet of lemon and you pour it in just like that, right on top of that powdered sugar. and then you mix it up. Just powdered sugar and lemon, and that lemon, a little bit of lemon is all you need. And you just work it, and this is what makes those taste so wonderful. Really have that lemony flavor. Okay, after you work that, it feels like a thick paste, but it's nice and creamy. It's the frosting that'll go on top of the muffins. We'll just set that aside until the muffins are done and cool. So the hardest thing to know is when to flip them over, and there's really no way to tell you an exact time. What you look for is when they get dry enough so they're not running on top. I hope you can see that, so that when you turn them upside down, they're not going to just run all over the place. Those are about right. So we take them out. Turn them upside down, and this is very quick, just to put a little bit of color on the top side. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but they're just barely a little color on the top of those. And they are completely done, and we'll take those out of this cooking pan and set them aside covered, and they'll be cooling. Now for this casserole, the first thing you do is you put a little of the enchilada sauce in the bottom of the pan, and then take your tortilla and lay it in, and then it's just a matter of layering. Alright, tortillas and cheese and sauce, and then tortillas, and then more cheese. Here's again 2 slices of pepper jack and cheddar, or whatever your favorite is. If you don't like cheese, you're not going to like this recipe. And then more sauce on top, and then the last tortilla, which is the 4th. And on top of the 4th tortilla, I'm putting French fried onions, and then the grated cheese. It's because you can't ever have too much cheese. And you want to kind of spread that out a little bit. And then on top of that, more sauce. This is just a store-bought red enchilada sauce. I bought the mild, even though I like stuff that's real spicy. There's just so much of it, you don't want to get the hot because there's just too much of it. Alright, and that's what it looks like before it goes on the heat. And now you don't even see a flame coming out of the stove now. There's just some coals. I put a couple of more pieces of wood on there, but they haven't even caught yet. And that doesn't matter really. We're just wanting it to warm up enough to melt all that cheese and soften those tortillas. Okay, while our enchiladas are baking, it's time to put the frosting on our muffins. And we just take the frosting mix, and that little bamboo skewer has a sharp point on one end, and I just want to try and pierce the end of that bag just like that, and see if we can't squeeze some of that out. And there it is. And so let me finish this, and I'll show you the finished product. And dinner is served. I placed these muffins, I finished putting the frosting on them, and then put them on top of this warm top that was covering the enchilada casserole. And this is the finished product. Let's just have a taste of this. Look at that. Stringy. Well, I'm going to have to pull it off. Look at that. Oh, that cheese. Tremendous. That is so good. If you like enchiladas, and those French fried onions on the top still have just a bit of crunch to them. It's excellent if you like Tex-Mex. Now, of course, you can adjust it. I've got it real juicy, I guess you could say. If you don't like it that juicy, well, you don't put as much sauce. But this is definitely a simple but delicious camping meal. Cheese enchilada casserole. Well, let me just say, there's really no easy way to eat this because it is so stringy. But that's the way cheese is, and it's so delicious. I hope you try this. It's not hard at all. All those enchiladas, or the enchilada casserole, was wonderful. I do have the sniffles from it though. Very nice, just the right amount of spice. But I wanted you to see the lemon poppy seed muffins, and they turned out nicely. No complaints. See the bottoms? They're not burned. And let me have a bite of this one. It's really that frosting on top that just gives them that pop, because it's super lemony and sweet, and it is excellent. You will like these as well. Give them a try, and if you do, let me know how it turns out. I'm going to enjoy these and finish up my evening meal. Well, it's starting to get dark. The meal was wonderful. It's getting cooler, and I'm going to put the underquilt on my hammock and get my top quilt out. Notice how much wood I have left. That should be enough to keep the fire going a little while tonight, and then enough for breakfast in the morning. Once again, it's just been an outstanding day. Any day in the forest is a good day. Oh yes, I wanted to tell you about this piece of insulation, small piece that I take in the hammock with me, and I think of it kind of like a heating pad. You know, when you turn around in the hammock, turn over or whatever you do, shift your position, sometimes your underquilt develops a little cold spot here or there under your arm or someplace, and you can get out and adjust it and get everything back just right again. But I tell you, it is a lot easier to have something like this just to slip under your shoulder or your hip or whatever it is that you're feeling a little cold. And I've found this heating pad, it's just really a piece of insulation that works wonders. It simplifies things, and I may not even use it tonight, but it's going to be available to me. And if I wake up and my shoulder is cold or something, there's a cold spot somewhere, and I don't want to get out of the hammock to adjust my underquilt, I'll just slip that there and problem solved. Now, there may be a better way to do it, I don't know, but this way works, and it's very, very easy. So I thought I'd share that with you as well. And you may not know, but in the Blackbird hammock there's I think they call it a shelf. There's a place to keep things, and I have some gear, and my camera and other things are just back there. so when I'm in my hammock I have access to it. So I don't guess all hammocks have that, but it is certainly a nice feature of the Blackbird hammock. Good night, everybody. We'll see you in the morning.
Good morning. It got down to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty chilly as far as I'm concerned. Glad to be up and about, ready for the new day to begin. It's about coffee time. What do you think?
Okay, I've got this little brass light stove going. I'm going to put the coffee on now. Makes great coffee.
And for breakfast this morning, I'm just going to mix up some biscuits. You know the routine. I've shown you this several times. Just put some water in this bowl of biscuit mix. It's just a store-bought mix. I've added powdered milk so that all you need is water out in the field. It's very simple. Just mix it up. And breakfast is served. The biscuits are all done. Turned out nice and light, fluffy, flaky. Delicious. Just right. And this morning, for something a little different, I thought I would bring some molasses, if it'll come out. It's so cold it doesn't want to come out. There we go. Biscuits with molasses. Reminds me of my childhood with my grandparents. Not everyone likes molasses, I understand that. My wife doesn't like it. Maybe it's something you had to grow up eating to really like. I don't know. But I like it. Let's give it a try. Now that's good. Fresh perked coffee and hot biscuits with molasses. It just doesn't get any better than this. Well, I'm all packed up and ready to go. Time to hit the trail.